Okay, cool. So I think it's time to get real because over the next 3 years, things are just going to get weird. AI is moving so fast, and it's not just our jobs that are being threatened anymore. It's entire industries that are being reshaped. And for those of us that are creating content, that are offering education, or even earning a living in the space, yeah, the threat's getting pretty real. And many of us are asking this question, how could I possibly compete? So I thought I'd just offer a different question, which is, how can we get ourselves into a position so that AI can't compete with us? So I thought I'd just break this down into two different types of creators that I'm seeing. The first creator that I've been seeing in the wild is the kind of creator that's more focused on logic. And they're offering frameworks, strategy, bullet points, highly actionable stuff, which is really, really helpful. But often this lacks any form of human connection. And then we've got the emotional creator, who is more focused on passion and inspiration and story and their own struggles, their own personal experience as they move through whatever it is that they've been through in their life. And often this just lacks any form of clarity. So logical lacks connection and emotional lacks any form of clarity. So they're both lacking in some way. And from my perspective, I just think that AI is going to completely dominate the logical creator. So if you're only focused on information, actionable steps and all this sort of stuff, AI is going to be able to do that way better. It's already catching up, and we have no idea what the capabilities are going to be in a year's time or 2 years' time or 5 years' time or 10 years' time. But I'm pretty sure that it's going to be indistinguishable between you and an AI version of the logical creator, because we won't know what's real and what's not. And they'll have access to all the information in the world, and just a couple of prompts will make a video like that. So you're competing with that level of speed as well. So it's just, I'm not saying this to make you scared or to bring fear into this space. I'm just saying it because this is what I'm seeing. This is what I'm seeing coming. So if you're an emotional creator and you're focused more just on the passion and the inspiration, all this sort of stuff, and not bringing any of the logic into it, it just becomes a mess, and it becomes really hard to actually follow what it is that your whole thing is about. So this is something that I've been seeing, in my own experience. Like from when I first started thinking about building my own channel, I was leaning into a lot of the logical creators for a lot of information. And it's cool because they don't waste time. They get straight to the point. And what was happening is I would take from that creator, I'll take the information, I'd implement it, and often never go back to their channel again because there was no connection. I'd forget about them. And then since I've been helping people in this space and focusing more on the emotion, getting videos that are coming in that are more focused on the emotion, I'm often watching these videos and getting a minute and then going like, I can't continue because there's no clarity, there's no direction, there's no compass that's letting me know exactly why it is that I should be watching this video. And I value my time more than anything else. As you know, I value freedom, and freedom is to have control over your time, to be in a position where you can do what you want, when you want, how you want it. That's kind of freedom. So when you're sending me a video where I'm kind of struggling to know what it is that you're talking about, I'm going to click away, and it's not going to be something that I'm never going to watch. So what I'm saying is we need to find the balance. We really need to find the balance between the logical creator and the emotional creator. And the logical creator, like I said, it's purely informational. It's purely educational. And the emotional creator, the emotion, is purely lived experience. It's purely human experience. So what I'm suggesting is that to find the sweet spot, we need to kind of balance the two. And when we balance the two, we begin to create from a place of insight. And when you speak from a place of insight, then you're touching a space that AI could never touch, because AI can't speak from insight. It can only speak from information that's hanging out there on the internet. So you're already getting yourself into a position where AI can't compete with you. So the way I'd suggest you look at this is, if you are somebody who is offering education, you've got some value to bring into your audience. You've clearly been through an experience that's got you to a point where you now have this clarity around how it is that you can help somebody. So you've gone through something. You've gone through your own transformation. You've gone through the process. You've moved through so many struggles that your audience is now looking to go through. And what you need to do is get clear on what that story is, on what your own origin story was that got you from 0 to hero, so that you can be in this position, so that you can actually guide somebody. And when you get clear on that and you start to speak to your audience, from that lived experience, from that emotional place where you've gone through the pain, you've gone through the struggles, you've been through those celebrations, the highs and lows and all that sort of stuff, and you bring that in a way which is structured, which has frameworks, which actually solves problems that are structured and filtered through an actual system, we really begin to speak from a place of insight. And when you do this, when you bring in this human experience into the logic, you can speak from a place of compassion, from a place of understanding, from a place of empathy. And when you do this, your viewer will feel it. They will know that you know. They will know that you've been through the thing that they're looking to move through. So you're not offering a step-by-step process. You're not offering a framework or some knowledge or some information. You're offering your own transformation, because that is exactly what your audience wants. If you can get your audience to go through a transformation that is valuable, that you've been through, that is the most valuable thing you can bring them. So I would just suggest, you start by just reverse engineering the steps. You look at how it is that you got to this point right now, where you've gotten to a point where you are an expert, where you do have this offer and this insight, and you can now reverse engineer the steps and really think about each moment of your own experience, where you went through your own micro transformations, the problems, the struggles, the celebrations, and really start to map that out and think about it like you're writing your own story. So if there was a movie about you, what would your movie be? And take yourself through the hero's journey and really write that out, get clear on it, and start to bring that into your content. And when we get this clear, when we get this right, we can really start to sort of, break away from that feeling, that worry, that fear that AI is going to outcompete you. And you can get into a position so that AI could never compete with you, because it will never have what you have. AI will never be able to lean into the human experience. It's the one area that it will never have. So what I'm saying is lean into that. And everything that I'm saying here, yes, we're talking about content, but I think this can be embedded into our life. The world is going absolutely mad right now. We are picking sides. We're either left or right. It's sort of and either way, we're just pulling further and further and further away from each other. And the balance is just getting lost. And what happens when there's no balance? It's just, we're starting to see it in the world. So when we can begin to balance the logic and the emotion in our own lives, in our own families and our own friendships, and start to spread that out into the world, we can begin to kind of shift the way in which the world operates. Because right now, it's not pretty out there, it's not great, and we really do need to find a balance. So yes, we are talking about content, but this is something that we can all implement into our own lives as well, and find the balance. Because like I said, too logical, boring, too emotional, messy, So let's find that gap. Let's bridge the whole thing, and find a way to create real connection, not just in our content, but in our lives and in the world. So let me know in the comments where you feel like you fit into this whole thing. Do you feel like you lean more logical or more emotional, or do you feel like you got the sweet spot? And if you do, send me your videos. I'd like to check them out. And any problems that you have, let me know, because I will answer those questions, and I'll find ways to bring it into future content, so I can make sure that I'm speaking directly to the kind of things that you're interested in. And for those of you that want to take this further, I've got the school community. It's called The Really Real, and it's pretty cool in there. I'll leave a link in the description below. I'd love to see you in there. If not, I'll see you here next week, making noise with my face.